they have achieved success not only in this space, so they're selling out, multiple thousand-seat venues. They're touring with more traditional or more well-known artists, which is causing this to become elevated, but they're also branched out into television and movies and these sorts of things. How many people have watched The Big Bang Theory? Come on, there's got to be a lot of yeses there, right? Yes. All right, good. Yes, we love it. So Big Bang Theory. It's cool to be a nerd. It's cool to have nerd stuff in our sitcoms. And the best thing about the Big Bang Theory, right? People saying it's their favorite. The best thing about it, right? Aside from the chemistry, because it is a fantastic ensemble, is all the math is correct. All the science is correct. The Big Bang Theory is the show that actually made me go back and pull out all my old Mikhail Keku books and start going back and reading, A Brief History of Time and going back to these sorts of things, right? Because it is socially acceptable now to be a nerd. 20 years ago, it was not. Right? We're seeing it in comics and art. We're seeing it in fashion. Now, since you've all seen Big Bang Theory, I figured we'll just bring up one of my favorite clips. Revenge of the Nerds, 1984. So that's what Jack was saying. Problem with Revenge of the Nerds in 1984 was that it played on the antisocial stereotypes of the space. But the nice thing about the Big Bang Theory, it shows the amalgam of both the jock anti-nerd stereotype and the quote-unquote nerd stereotype. And it really, these characters are an amalgam of society, right? Where everybody can relate to them because they see something about themselves within one of the characters. So here is one of my favorite clips from the show, and just because the math is so rockingly awesome. Here we go.
If I make the proper suggestion all across this great nation of our Thursday night is ladies' night. To me, as the evening progresses, we will get better looking, courtesy of 99-cent margaritas and 2-for-1 jello shots. Thinking of girls in a bar, practically zero. Okay, are you familiar with the Drake equation? The one that estimates the odds of making contact with extraterrestrials by calculating the product of increasingly restricted series fractional values, such as those stars sustain it, and then say it's likely to develop life. Times FB times ND times SL times FY times FC times L.
So I've already told my wife it is a very good thing these are fictitious characters, and if they were real, that they don't live within 100 miles of me, because I would be at that apartment all the time. So, see, there you go. Us geeks who know how to rock the pocket protected. This is absolutely true. So this is what we see, right? Today in society, what we see is this geek culture becoming more of the norm, right? What it's also given rise to is not just the people that are at kind of the root adoption of that technology, but it's the people that benefit from those sorts of innovations that are really adopting these platforms as well, right? We've moved on from a generation of systems and computer administrators and people who had to take care of their machines to use them to people who just use them, right? So the rise of YouTube stars. I mean, YouTube has really emerged as this amazing platform, not just for self-expression, but for also stardom. So you probably, recognize some of these people like Chad Vader up there in the corner, who actually wound up, as a result of doing the YouTube series, is now doing a bunch of voiceover work for Lucas, right, for cartoon series and for game stuff. Fred Figglehorn, who, everybody that has teenage kids or tween kids knows who Fred is, and the Nika Higa boys down here in the lower right, the #1 subscribed to group on YouTube, Justin Bieber, who was founded on YouTube. You have a gentleman ran for Congress up here. You have folk singers that are found there. So YouTube is really proven to be this platform where it's the public consensus that is driving the demand and the popularity of these stars. It is changing the power model, and it's shifting that control to people. This is why we have the upheaval in records industry, why we have the upheaval, quite honestly, in education, right? And we see the same thing in, again, movies and music and television. They're trying to figure out how they can go ahead and control this thing, and we can't control it, right? Nor should we try. What we should be trying to do is understand how to use it to its best effect, right? You look at games that are working towards the social good. When you had, the incredible travesty and devastation in Haiti, groups like Outspark and Facebook or Zynga with Sweet Seeds for Haiti got together to create these programs by which they were able to raise millions of dollars for somebody put up here, also educational section for linkable videos for teaching. Absolutely, absolutely. There are several actually scientists that I follow on YouTube because they do such great videos that actually make it entertaining and palatable for a mass audience, right? So I agree completely with you there, Governor State. So anyway, back to the social good slide. Helping Haiti, right? Sweet Seeds for Haiti. Looking at, this the Magic of Runes, doing this project for Save the Children. Child's Play. For those of you who are familiar with the Penny Arcade comic, which is absolutely brilliant, it is very adult in nature, so if you have sensibilities that may be you may not like some of that material, you may be able to stomach a little bit of it, but it really is a very, very funny strip. It really speaks and lambasts themselves. It's very self-referential. But what's really been amazing about this comic strip that's aimed at video gamers is they've created this charity called Child's Play. And through Child's Play, they've raised over $5 million for terminally ill children's wards in hospitals all over the United States. These are gamers that are giving back to very worthwhile charities, worthwhile pursuits, and leveraging their communities in which to do so. So we're seeing more of these social goods that are coming out of these sorts of spaces. We look at games out in our world. Has anyone ever played an alternate reality game or an ARG before? Yes or no? Let's wait for anybody to pop up stuff. No? No way, Greg says. Nope, I'm not a gamer. Tracy, as I told you, everybody's a gamer. You just don't know it yet. You just don't know it yet. You have games you play. You just may not realize that you're a gamer yet. And that's okay. That's okay. We'll get you. So let me explain what ARGs are. Alternate reality games are games that are played in the physical world, but leverage internet-based technologies through which you play them. So they are a couple of examples that I have up here, a few examples. Find the Lost Ring. We'll talk about those in 1 second. Ghost of a Chance was an ARG that the Smithsonian American Art Museum ran, where people actually had to come into the museum to find clues that were hidden within the art pieces. And I'll talk a bit about this. Yep. So you like Monopoly, the board game, Miss Pac-Man? Pac-Man, yes. Okay, if you play Pac-Man, then you're a video gamer. So anyway, I'll start reading the text and continue back to the slide. So it's ARGs are typically played with the magic of traditional technologies. It's built on community. It's built on participation. And it's amazing because the games that are being played out there provide amazingly accurate trend analysis for things that are going on in our world. So I'll give you an example of two of them. The first one is at the bottom of the stack, the World Without Oil. Back, I guess it was 4 years ago when they ran this ARG, the goal of the game was to play for 90 days. Everyone that was playing, quote unquote, in the game had to live their real life as if gas was $4 a gallon. Now, this is back before gas really became $4 a gallon. So what they said was, okay, we're all going to live our lives and play and share our experiences with each other as if gas was $4 a gallon. So what it caused people to do is to create systems of communication, alternate ways of getting to work, ways that could change their lives, their families' lives, to participate in this big experiment and communicate back to the community how they're living and what they're doing. And people turned it into a game where they would see, who could eliminate X amount of things, in their lives that impacted oil use before Team B did. And so people really turned it into this amazing game. Well, flash forward a couple of years, and guess what happens? Gas hits $4 a gallon. And the group that ran the game went back to the players and said, how you doing? They said, absolutely fine. We've already lived through this before. It's no big deal. We know exactly how to behave. So you would think, okay, changing your life structure to be more inconvenienced, is that enjoyable? Absolutely it is, because if you can place it in the context of community and participation and communication and sharing and camaraderie and teamwork, you make it a game and people will do it. So another one that we'll talk about and then we'll move on is this one at the top called Find the Lost Ring. And this one was awesome, absolutely awesome. So this was actually sponsored by McDonald's, and it took place during the Summer Olympics, when they were held over in China. And what happened was this game framework was created. And the framework went like this. There was a game that was played during the ancient Olympics that somehow got lost to history. Right? We don't know if it was a political reason, if it was a personal vendetta by one of the people overseeing the Olympic Games or whatever. But after the first time it was played in the first Olympics, it was lost to history. Recently, an archaeologist had dug up a clue that included body markings and some scroll work that talked about the game, just in very basic little elements. What you come to find out when you start piecing together these clues that then started to turn up all over the world was that there were 5 metal rings, laurel wreaths, that were actually buried physically on planet Earth. So really, the game creators had 5 of these massive rings made. One of them was actually buried in Africa. So the first time Africa was ever included in this. And the community of gamers around the world had to figure out where they were located on the planet, dig them up, figure out what the rule set was going to be, and they did it. And they played the game, the lost fictitious game, on the Olympic lawns during the Olympics in China. So just absolutely amazing that the world got together, literally, and created a game out of a mythology that then became part of the lore that goes along with the Olympics. And this is something that will continue to evolve. So this is what these sorts of games have the ability to do, is people using web-based platforms, browsers, new media, mobile, texting, game platforms, these sorts of things, to engage in these sorts of games. I'll give you one last game one, and then we'll move on. There is, if any of you have a PlayStation 3, there is a screensaver that you can turn on called the Folding at Home screensaver, which is a project that's being done with Stanford University to do protein folding. And the protein folding activity is being used to do things like, find cure for sickle cell anemia and cancer research and all these other sorts of things. And so you say, okay, that's really neat. So what happens is the university shoots down a piece of protein data to your machine. When you're not using the machine, it uses the idle cycles, just like the SETI at Home program did, to do the protein folding. And if your bit of work results in a step forward or something that leads to the cure, you actually get credit for helping to find a cure, which is great, right? So mine is actually named after the initials of my kids. So that way, if something were to happen, their names would kind of live on in that. Well, as gamers will do, you can, within the construct of the program, is you can assign yourself to a team. So what happened was all these ad hoc teams started popping up all over the web on these different gaming forums saying, don't join Team GameSpy, those guys suck. Come over and join Team NeoGaf, And so they would basically turn it into a game where they were fighting against each other to do protein folding, right? And it's like, okay, this weekend we're going to have a marathon. Nobody play their PlayStation 3. We're going to keep it on for 72 hours, and we'll just do nothing but folding. Let's see how many gigaflops we can go ahead and contribute back to the project. This is what people do. They turn these things into games because then it's enjoyable, it's community, and good can come from it. So I'm going to give you a very real-world example of this stuff. So this is a picture of my oldest daughter, Alexandra. She's 13 years old. She's an honor student in 7th grade. She takes high school French in the 7th grade. She takes pre-algebra. She's a volleyball player who actually goes to the Naval Academy in Annapolis to do volleyball camp in the summer. Very active social life. And here she is in our room doing party chat, SMSing, playing Xbox 360, Skype, and Facebook, all at the same time. All at the same time. Now, the question, I'm sure there's probably some gasps or some laughing or some just shaking of head or putting heads down.